What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Fantasy F Around. I am Josh, and I do not know where my fantasy counterpart is. Probably mourning the fact that he's finally not won a division in 9 seasons or something like that. The Kansas City Chiefs have run into the best defense in the league. But it's not just me, though, tonight, because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bring in another Kansas City Chiefs fan, all right, to ride this night with me. Let's bring him in. Our buddy, you know him, you love him. Ryan, what is up, sir?
How are we doing?
We're doing all right. My team had a fun beating your team last week, so that was fun at least. I'm talking about as far as Dallas. And then that was our season. Then we fell back to earth. George Pickens became the George Pickens that we were hoping not to get, but he became that George Pickens where George Pickens loved George. And then CeeDee Lamb got hurt, and Dak Prescott could only do what he could. So,
well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. And
I did.
Having our own issues.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody that can block for us or anything like that? Because that usually when the Super Bowl rolls around, that's when we lose all our offensive linemen. Now we're just losing them in the regular season.
I blame Nick Wright because he always was saying that the regular season was just the preseason to the playoffs. Well, now the regular season actually means something to the Kansas City Chiefs, and you're 6-7. I hate that number for obvious reasons. But yeah, you. Sol pointed out you have the same record as the Dolphins. Just let that settle there for a second.
That's fine. Again, dynasties could take a pause. Obviously, the Patriots are doing what they're doing, which is so great for everyone else because they're loving that.
Yeah, well, Dallas's dynasty took a pause for 30 years, despite what Jerry Jones thinks. So,
I thought they were all in. Was that? That was last year. This is just.
Yeah.
I don't know. You do want trade to someone to Green Bay, but whatever. But you've picked up some decent players though lately. That's helped you out, at least for your defense.
It's too soon, Ryan. It's too soon.
That's fine. I'm going through my own emotions right now.
Yeah.
So
we're all in this together.
I'm gonna bring you down here to our. Actually, you are 6-1, so. You're still actually. So that means you're actually better than us.
Yeah,
that's 6-7.
We should have beat the Packers. That game was stupid. We had that game the whole time. But we're not going to talk about our bottom 10 teams. We're going to talk about some top 10 players, though, and we got a lot of them to talk about. But some of them have hit the board for the first time, and. Congratulations to them. Here's a top 10. That's right, everyone. It is our top 10 players of the week. We go through the overall top 10, and then we break it down by position, except for kickers and defenses. But shout out to Seattle and Houston for being really, really good. In the defensive perspective, kickers, they're people, but whatever on those. But Ryan, as far as the top 10 overall for this week, we have, surprise, this guy named Josh Allen at 38. Michael Wilson at 37. Jahmyr Gibbs, might have heard of him, at 37. Puka Nacua at 36. Shedeur Sanders, that's right, you got that correct. Shedeur Sanders at 34. Jackson Smith-Njigba at 28. Tony Pollard against the Cleveland defense at 28. T. Higgins at 27. Flournoy at 27, and Blake Corum at 26. Now, I know we'll go over individual players, but of those, who's the one player that really stuck out and think it's a trend and not just a flash in the pan?
I'm going to say, out of the group that you had, I'll go with your wide receiver of with Michael Wilson. Only if Harrison's out, because if he's out, their wide receiver just overall core is kind of lacking. I mean, you have some on RIR, Harrison out. Obviously, you got McBride and Wilson. Right. It may not be for next week because we have they happen to be, I think, playing the Texans, so I wouldn't want to touch that. But aside from that, he's just getting the targets and the receptions. I mean, it was 11 receptions this game.
Yep, 16 targets, 11 receptions, 142 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he had himself a night. Congratulations to all of you who started him. And happy about
did
it.
In my other league.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, you've watched the show. You're obviously part of our Ruckus Fantasy League. Discord's down below, guys. Love to have you over there. It is free to join. But I'm in, way too many leagues that I'd like to count or talk about. But Michael Wilson was a really good, maybe Super Bowl winning pickup for you, as long as he can keep the consistency up, as long as Marvin Harrison Jr. is still out. Obviously, with their season done, in a sense, I don't see them trying to rush back those players. So you're going to get a lot of Jacoby Brissett still throwing the ball 700 times. They're not going to rush back any running backs. Obviously, they're probably done with Kyler Murray at all as far as him being the Arizona Cardinal quarterback. And so really and truly, to me, fantasy-wise, if you're a Michael Wilson owner or a Trey McBride owner, you're still going to be okay. And you're going to be having them in your starting lineup. Obviously, against the Texans, that's a whole different story. But if you're throwing the ball as much as Arizona does for their lack of having no run game, and I see those two still being okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going, because I just think it's definitely worthwhile. It would be preference if you have a bye week next week, if you're in the playoffs, so you don't have to deal with that. But after that, Arizona's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty good there. But as far as the overall running quarterbacks for the week, we had Josh Allen at 38, Shedeur Sanders at 34, as we already talked about, Joey B at 25, Sam Darnold at 23, Matthew Stafford 23, Tyler Shuck, yes, you heard that right, 22, Lamar Jackson at 22. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Two Louisville quarterbacks tying each other for in the top 10 there at 22. Shout out Aaron Rodgers. He can still do it, guys, sometimes. 21, Dak Prescott's having an amazing year. And this guy named J.J. McCarthy at 20 after the Vikings laid zeroed out, goose-egged the Commanders. So obviously we've already talked about Michael Wilson. But as far as the quarterbacks there, what were some surprises and what were some trends that you see going forward with some of these quarterbacks?
Well, Burrow into obviously the top 10 because he hadn't been, but he's also been injured. But that's the one I could see going forward. Some people haven't even probably started him all year, maybe at the very beginning of the year before he got hurt, and they didn't want to take a chance because they've had somebody else. But after what you're seeing, that is somebody that they're just whipping it around. And I mean, for those 4 touchdowns, he had the 2 interceptions and one with the pick 6 that didn't really do all that well for them. But if they're going to wing it as much as they are right now, it should be fun.
Yeah. The one that sticks out to me, not to be a homer, but I'm going to be a homer, is Tyler Shuck, because he did that on the road in pouring down rain against the Buccaneers. And he's obviously a rookie, even though he's like 30. If you didn't know, guys, Tyler Shuck was the backup to Justin Herbert when Justin Herbert was at Oregon. That's how long Tyler Shuck was in college. So he's like 27. But he looked the part against the Buccaneers. And, with their coach, I don't know what his the Saints coach, Kellen Moore. Thank you, Brain, for finally getting there. But yeah, Kellen Moore with his offensive scheme and stuff. Maybe the Saints are getting healthy. Obviously, we're going to probably go over their rookie running back here shortly. But that's the one that kind of sticks out to me. Obviously, they did say Shadur Sanders is going to be a starter going forward. They did that against the Titans, guys. Did it against the Titans. That's the only thing that I would bring up Tyler Shuck, because he did it against the Buccaneers, which is
definitely good defense. I think I started that defense in one of my leagues.
Yeah,
it did okay, but because I was expecting Saints, only do so well.
Yeah. Another quarterback. Let me bring up this here. Other quarterback. So JJ McCarthy getting in the top 10. I just want to throw that out there. I don't know what he is. Like, is he like that rookie that like shows flashes and like shows the flashes, but still looks terrible? I just don't see him. He still hasn't got the game speed down to me. Like, I don't get it yet.
They might have just taken what they give him, that kind of stuff. But you'd think he probably, I don't know, get their best wide receiver more involved. But yet he made the top 10. He thrown it to all these other people. But whatever got the job done.
I mean, he had 3 touchdowns, but he was 16 for 23 for 163 and 3. It's like other than the 3 touchdowns, it wasn't anything that you're like excited about, Now Tyler, he had 7 rush for 55 yards and 2 touchdowns. But he was 13 for 20 for 144. Like, he was serviceable, but it's the rushing. And if he's going to be a decent runner, that's where I'm intrigued with to see if they can actually utilize that. Now, he did have some injuries in college. Where he really didn't want to run the ball as much, but he had his first full healthy season last year when he played for Louisville, like from start to finish. So we'll see on that.
He has a few more weeks, see if he makes it through.
Yeah,
of this season
for sure. Running back wise, okay, I'll just ask Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, wow, like where. I knew he'd take a step up, but I didn't think he'd be this. Like, he is a full, like, they really don't need David Montgomery anymore.
Nope.
It's ridiculous what he's been able to do.
Montgomery gets scraps on occasion, might have some decent flex weeks, but nope, it's the Gibbs show, and he probably could have been 1.01. I mean, if depending on what you needed. If you were definitely into the running back in the first round, I mean, could have been him.
Yeah, could have been. I believe, let me look at the box score real quick. As far as Montgomery is concerned, he had 6 carries. 6. Yeah. Now, granted, it's Dallas defense. They're decent at more run stopping, but the pass catching ability and just the burst that Gibbs has. So you get him in open space. It's a track meet, and you're going to lose that race every single time. And
all it takes is one.
Yep. And they know, and their GM knows how to. Him and MCDC know how to pick out talent. And they reached for Jameson Williams, and they traded up for Jameson Williams, and they traded up for Jahmyr Gibbs. Batting 1,000. Once they realized that Jameson Williams was on his team and MCDC took over play calling abilities. Yeah, because the new OC didn't.
First year wasn't much because he's, I think, suspended for a chunk of time. Took a while.
He tore his ACL. He was suspended. Last year he was suspended. The year before that he was he tore his ACL in the national championship game.
Right. So it'd take a while to get up and going. But I mean, this will be his first full year being healthy?
I believe, or not suspended.
Or not suspended, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he's finally coming. He's doing now what we were expecting him to do all season. It just took Dan Campbell to take over play calling because he's like, why are we not using this guy? Like, he's good on that. But Tony Pollard with 28, Blake Corum. We'll talk about him here in a bit when it comes to waivers. RJ Harvey with 22. Travis Etienne at 21, Chase Brown at 19. Guess what happens when you have a competent quarterback? Chase Brown is good at football. Kyron Williams at 18, Devon Achane, Mr. Teflon Don, even though he got hurt, I'm happy about that, at 18, Josh Jacobs at 17, and then Jalen Wright at 17. And I know you had a couple of notes about the carries and the points of the Miami running backs.
Yeah, it just it was interesting that you had Achane and Wright the top 10 split back. I mean, they both played. I mean, I know Achan's a little bit hurt, but the point is, if anything ever happens to Achan, you definitely have who's going to be there as the handcuff, because both of them seem to be able to do a bit of damage. But it was just surprising to see both of them in get the top 10, and yet both playing as much as they did.
Well, what happened to Ollie Gordon, man? He was supposed to be something this year.
Yeah, they drafted him, and he's around, but they figure out who's works for them and go from there.
Yeah, is it the Dolphins or is it
goddamn Jets?
We don't know. Probably the Jets.
Yeah.
But also, Achan went out in the first half. He had 105 yards and a touchdown in the first half. So
if you combine the two, that would be a really good Miami running back.
Yeah. It's like a megazord of a Miami running back if we combine them.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, he had he was 7 for 92 and a touchdown in the first half for Achan. And then Jalen Wright ended up having 24 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown. So, yeah, you give him the ball 24 times, you hope to get at least 70. So that's a lot of carries there. Anybody else? We are seeing the emergence of RJ Harvey. Now that has something to do with J.K. Dobbins pretty much being done for the year. But this is exactly what you were expecting when you drafted RJ Harvey, or you took a shot at him in the 6th, 7th round. And it's paying off. Now, this is now, are you a big person of, I see the potential, I am going to ride this out as long as my team doesn't get too far behind the 8 ball as far as your season and not dropping RJ Harvey? Or are you running into the Trayvon Henderson situation that people ran into later on?
Yeah, when it came to Harvey, I had the opportunity to pick him up. I just didn't see it when it came to that defense and that offense. Was they going to be any good? And thinking about Dobbins, because just Dobbins is a really good player, and as long as he could stay healthy, which he didn't stay healthy. So yeah, it would have been one that you could hold on to if you had this spot, but it took a while. And I mean, some bench spots you only have 4 or 5. I mean, and you just can't sit. So if you have the flexibility, that was one where you could gradually see that it was an improvement. And yeah, he was out there for quite a while. He wasn't one I was eyeing. I wanted to pick up because the split was there and Dobbins was good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the main thing. He was good and I didn't see them splitting. I saw the split sticking around as long as they were both there.
The issue was JK. It was a 70-30 split in JK's favor, and JK was being serviceable as that 4-yard to carry back, and they were winning. That's the big thing. Is like, you don't like the scheme as a fantasy owner, but they're winning, which is why I don't like when Ramondre Stevenson's around for the Travion Henderson situation, because they're winning. So why switch up what they're doing when they're winning? Yeah. I can give you all statistical reasons why Travion should get 70% to 80% of the bulk of the stuff, but why don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? Well, I as a fantasy owner hope you fix it, because Travion's averaging 6-7 yards a carry. It's ridiculous. But whatever.
It's all about the penalty issues where you look at, you see the split. Unless there's an injury, you don't see that split going away, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and so the RJ Harvey, a lot of people got happy when they picked. They probably just stashed him just in case the injury, where they didn't need him. So that means your team was already good. So like, how the heck did he get? Like last year, my team was pretty solid, and I stashed Bucky Irving, which he did fall onto our waivers.
What? I had no idea.
Yeah,
he's not my RB2 now.
No, but we'll get into your wisdom when it comes to waivers here in a minute on the wildcard section. But let's move on to the wide receivers. And we already talked about before, Michael Wilson. He was 16 targets for 11 receptions, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua is still doing his thing at 36 points. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the most consistent. wide receiver and the number one receiver on the year at 28. T. Higgins, 27, even though he had injury there. Flournoy with the Dallas Cowboys, Ryan Flournoy, that is, had 27 points. He had 13 targets for 9 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown. Christian Watson, welcome back at 25 points. DK Metcalf at 22. Zay Flowers at 21. Tim Patrick, yes, he's still playing in the NFL at 19. And then CeeDee Lamb before he went out with an injury at 18. So that Dallas offense is still potent. Mm-hmm. So even when George gets in his own way, another receiver still steps up because Dak Prescott is playing really, really good ball this year.
Right. Right. So so there it is. 2 wide receivers in the top 10 on the same team, and one gets hurt, and just like Achane getting hurt, just if you combine CeeDee Lamb, I'm thinking what CeeDee Lamb could have done this week if he was stayed healthy.
Yeah, it's pretty much there. But what else stuck out to you on the wide receiver front?
Just weird seeing DK Metcalf doing something. I mean, they paid him all that money, and he hasn't done anything because it's just not seems to be what Rodgers does of throwing deep, and you'd think they try to get him more involved, and all of a sudden he's throw multiple 20-yard passes, and that's what you do. Actually, get it to probably your best wide receiver, and hey, guess what? They won. And I think it's gonna stick around. I have no idea. I mean, I'd be surprised. But hey, every blue moon you see something come around. And now seeing the top 10, they are just obnoxious when it comes to Puka and JSN. I'm having some issues right now when you have to play against them both against the same team. I don't know if you're on, Chris, but I'm talking to you.
GIF, you're all's bromance yet nemesis situation going in our chats have always been fun because every time I was like, good win. It's like, oh, come on, can y'all just get a room? Okay, we get it. But it's more of the congratulations, but I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, that's currently what's going on this evening. And what am I going to do about it? Not much. No. I just know we're both in the playoffs, and I do not have to play him unless we both make the title. So
probably going to be playing this guy next.
Yep, next week. And
I am limping into this playoff. Yeah. But you know how I drafted CeeDee Lamb and Brian Thomas Jr. as first and second pick. I made the playoffs, so I got that. Yeah, that's about it. But and speak of the devil,
can win it.
There he is.
Hello. I'm not bitter. I think I was probably going to lose this week? Yeah. I had some people on bye. I just didn't think I had enough ammo, and I didn't. That's fine. Until
if you really want more salt in the wound, he's a Dolphins fan, so his team has the same record as the Chiefs. So
yeah, fine. I'll emotionally get over it. I'm in my own place mentally right now. It's fine. Still come back.
Hey, well, I mean, hey, Giff.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I hope you lose though. Already having you win the league last year was insult. I don't need you win it back to back. Okay.
Well, he has a bye week, just like your counterpart who's not here. I have a feeling, so that's up for me too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But it just helps to have JSN this season. That's all it matters. Like we talked about that before we went live. JSN, like I said, when he had like 73% of the target share on week one, it was like an ungodly number. And I was like, if that's not going to keep up, but it's going to still be a high number. So if you, barring all the knock on wood, barring injury for him, he should, unless that team collapses, he should be what he's doing right now.
But you get a Seattle defense that's just, taking names, gives a lot more opportunity for JSN to get the ball, put it all together. Probably short fields too. I mean, it is enjoyable up here because I am up here in Seattle and we get to hear about it all, but not when I have to play against them.
No. And he doesn't come across as like some like DK Metcalf, like physical, like a Megatron or something like that. No, he's just a really good route runner and a receiver. He's a professional, really good. I don't know if that was a terrible
good hands.
Yep, good routes, good hands. And Sam Darnold finds them.
Yeah. I think Minnesota could probably use a Sam Darnold. That's fine. I'm glad we have him. Jeez. I mean, Geno in Vegas, not so much.
No. He's laughing at that. Fins up, and yet we know you have Puka too.
Yes, okay? Puka. Yes, I'm well.
You also have James Cook, and you have a good team. We get it.
Anybody who beats him in the playoffs, his league, you deserve it.
Yeah. And before and let's go to the tight ends real quick. Now, obviously you've heard my philosophy on tight ends and we'll kind of do this at the end of the season, especially when we're making that late playoff push, and we'll go over how with your waivers and stuff. But when you go for tight ends, like, are you just making sure they have the targets, or like what are you chasing when it comes to tight ends?
Well, considering my two teams that I'm going to be go in the playoffs is the number one tight end currently. I mean, out of Arizona. So I'm looking to lock it down. I mean, he wasn't big for touchdowns for a while, but you get a quarterback that for some reason likes to swing it around. It's pretty handy. But yes, I just like to not have to deal with it. It doesn't always work out. I mean, and sometimes you get burned. But yeah, I like to lock it down. If I can get a top three, and I do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just tough for me to draft that high on a tight end. And so if I can pick out a good 6th, 7th round tight end who I think could be top 5 at least, or top 3, because really and truly, like if you're like, I ended up drafting a top 10 tight end, that's not saying a lot. A top 5 tight end, maybe top 3, you're doing really well. But I just that's why I was going for the Tucker Crafts and the Tyler Warrens of the world, because I could still go for value and then get them at the higher.
I think there's this year. I think there's a pretty large difference between McBride and everyone else. So that happened this time.
Yeah,
not sure what it is offhand.
He has 235, and the next one. Hold on, I got to play the soundbite for the next one, which is Jake Ferguson. Is at 171 for the season. Trey McBride is 235, Jake Ferguson at 171. So pretty decent gap there. But then you had Travis Kelce 165, which I think this is probably his last season, if you want my honest opinion. But who knows? He's got to support his billionaire fiance. And then there's Tyler Warren and then Brock Bowers. So I got to play the soundbite, I got this far, almost 30 minutes. I didn't bring up his name, okay, for Brock Bowers. But when he's like when he's healthy, he is a Teflon Don too, because that is a terrible dumpster fire of a team. A dumpster fire looks good compared to what the Raiders are. But
I mean, he is their, in essence, wide receiver 1. So
yes, yeah. When it came, when some people were talking in a non-tight end league, and I was helping somebody draft, and I said, I forget which round it was, and they were like trying to group between. I was like, take Trey McBride. He was like, he's a tight end. I said, he's the number 1 receiver on the team. There's a difference. And Trey McBride is turning into exactly the Trey McBride. If Kittle was healthy, that's literally the outlier is health, because Kittle was definitely being the wide receiver 1 for that team, because they just didn't really have anybody else.
The league that I didn't make it in, Kittle was my tight end, so didn't have him half the year. Was not great.
Yeah, but as far as the tight ends that could make a late season stretch here, Harold Fannin at 25 points, Mike Gesicki at 21, Dawson Knox at 17, Oliver at 16, Kyle Pitts. You'll never have me draft him ever. At 15, Brock Bowers at 15, Dalton Kincaid at 14, Loveland at 13, Isaiah Likely at 13, which you probably should have had more because that was a touchdown. and Cody Parkinson at 12. But just kind of a theme here of having, other than quarterbacks, having two guys in the top 10 on the same team. We had two Dolphins running backs. We had two Cowboys at receiver. And we have two Bills at tight end. Now, Bills played the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So take that with what you want. But kind of a weird thing that happened that way.
Yeah, since he is allowing the most points this year to tight ends by a large margin. So if you have a tight end, you're playing them. I think there was 3 tight ends that did stuff today. I mean, 2 made the top 10, but the third tight end also got something. I mean, you just play your tight ends against Cincy, who McBride plays in week 17.
Yeah. Well, hope you make the Super Bowl at that point.
I hope I do too. But
yeah. I knew you had Tucker Kraft. Okay, I know you had Tucker Kraft. Sorry, you have some holes in your roster.
Yeah,
my bad.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know what get not eat is, but on that. But for late season push, I like Harold Fannin going forward. Shadur's got to throw the ball to somebody now. They played the Titans, and the Titans are they're frisky, but they're still bad. Whereas the Raiders are just garbage. I think the Titans are just a bad team that still shows fight. So I'm at least okay with Fannin going forward. Obviously, he's been in and out of people's lineups all season because Njoku's there. But I just, now that they finally settled on a quarterback, and Shadur has shown signs that he's going to be a decent NFL quarterback. I will say that much. All the sideshow crap aside, I think Shadur Sanders has shown he still can play at a decent level in the NFL. Now, whether that's I'm pretty sure you're going to add his name to the rotation of quarterbacks in Cleveland Browns history. I don't see him really doing, lighting the stage on fire or being a world beater or anything like that. But as far as this season is concerned, because Stefanski's fighting for his job. That's what he's doing. So he's going to try and get every ounce of football he can out of his team. And if Shadur is targeting Harold Fannin, then I'm excited for it. Because that's 11 targets, and that's what you love to see.
Yeah, and their wide receiver room's not exactly who's who.
No. What, Jerry Jeudy? Remember when he?
that one time.
That one time.
Oh, year. Yeah. So yes, I still see a lot of Fannin receptions going forward.
Yeah. And honestly, like Njoku's not a bad pickup either. Like as long as he's healthy, Njoku is still pretty solid there. Yep. But any kicker and defenses you want to highlight other than the two that we talked about, which is the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks?
No, those. I mean, if you have those two defenses, good for you.
Good for you.
Oh, wait, I got that. I have the Houston defense.
Okay. All right. Well, I have Seattle's defense. That's pretty much why we brought those two up, but they're also the two highest scoring defenses.
And so we're going to play each other probably next week.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So we'll cancel each other out when it comes to the defenses, except it depends on who's Houston play next week?
I think it was – I do. Is it Indy? No.
Yeah, it's Indy.
Yeah, who has no quarterback.
So, speaking of Indy, let's talk some news and notes because they're all over it.
Yeah.
We do. But, ready to hear some Goosebumps movies?
There you go. All right. I'm going to step out 1 second.
All right. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the news and notes section of it as Ryan stepped away for a second, but I can go over that for you. As we alluded to, Indy is all over the news because unfortunately Daniel Jones, who was playing with a fractured fibula or tibula, I think it was fibula, but he was playing through it, unfortunately tore his Achilles. I was watching and I saw exactly what happened. And I was like, yep, that's an Achilles. Unfortunately, it was. I'm no doctor, but then the doctors actually confirmed it. So he is out for the season. And then Riley Leonard, rookie out of Notre Dame, came in as his backup. And then now he's listed at week to week with a knee injury. So what do? They call Phillip Rivers. Yes, this isn't a bit. This is actually true. They call Phillip Rivers to come work out for the practice squad. And for those who don't know who Phillip Rivers is, he's been around the block. He officially renounced his retirement this year, and he's a grandfather. He's got a lot of kids, which is kind of nuts in itself. But he was with Indy. He is apparently going to go and test it out. I can't believe I'm saying that as an actual news thing. But it is true that Phillip Rivers will be seeing if he can go at the ripe old age of 40-something. I don't know exactly how old he is, so don't quote me on it. And then Stefanski, as we alluded to earlier, did come out and say that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starter for the rest of the season, which why wouldn't you? He's played fine. He's played better than Dylan Gabriel. You're not putting in Deshaun Watson ever again in his life, probably, at least for the Cleveland Browns. And I don't think any other team's going to touch him with a 10-foot pole. And there's a joke in there, but I'm not going to go over it. And then obviously you've traded away Joe Flacco. So, there's that.
Something about Flacco.
Okay. Something about Flacco that I missed. Can't quite put my finger on it. But thank you, Joe Flacco. But yeah, old man Rivers. Like, that's insane, dude. That's just ridiculous. That this is where they're at. Like, I don't care how bad Nathan Peterman was as a quarterback. He's younger.
I mean, is he doing anything football-wise right now? I mean, I understand just coming up from the couch, but coming up from the couch and you're hitting how old?
He's got to be 43, 44 at this point. I mean, Flacco and Rodgers are 41, 42, but they went through off-season training and a lot of icy hot and all that other stuff. Like, I mean, they're going through the trials and tribulations, but I mean, he might do as Toby Keith. He's not as good as he once was, but as good as once he ever was. But it's just nuts on that. Other thing, obviously, Jaden Daniels got banged up. It's more of the question if they're really going to even try to play Jaden Daniels for the rest of the season because they're out of the playoffs. They're basically done there. So if Jaden wants to play, I would just sit him, wouldn't you? Like I would just.
Yeah, I mean, they said he was kind of healthy enough to go back in if he really wanted to, but
right.
Yeah. So who knows on that one? I just wanted to say that it was actually Indy's going to be playing Seattle, so you will actually get to take.
All right, I like our matchup already.
Yeah,
I'm excited about my defense, guys. That's how good my team is because I should be excited about more.
Arizona is Texas.
That the Michael Wilson, Trey McBride situation.
Yeah. I'm still playing McBride, but
you're not going to not like, oh, they have a bad matchup. No, we've talked about before on the show. You go with who got you there. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Just if they run up against a bad matchup, let your dudes do their thing, and if it doesn't happen, I'm good with that. I'm not going to be mad about it at all for that. Oops, put that back there. But click that. I need to do that. There you go. And last couple of things. Devon Achane obviously left in the first half with a rib injury. They're hoping to get him back. CeeDee Lamb left the game, but is hopeful to return. T. Higgins is in concussion protocol, and we might have to pour one out. I don't think Zach Ertz is going to be playing professional football again. I'm surprised he's lasted this long honestly, and playing at the level that he has. Obviously, we keep saying like, "Oh, when's Travis Kelce? When's Travis?" I mean, Zach Ertz has been around about as long as Travis Kelce has. He's been playing at a really high level. Obviously, he's a Super Bowl winning champion with the Philadelphia Eagles when they beat Tom Brady and did the Philly special and all that fun stuff. But for the squeamish out there, don't go watch the replay.
Ooh. Yeah, I just stumbled upon it. The next thing, I mean, and I'm like, oh,
yeah. It's like that injury, Tyreek Hill's injury, Scadaboo's injury. Like it's up there with the gruesome injuries that we've had this year.
Yeah, at that age, I don't see it coming back.
I just don't. But
I mean, don't get me wrong. You could sometime. I mean, some point down the road, it won't be next season probably, or most of next season.
And that's what I'm worried about, and that's why I feel bad for Danny Dimes because it's so late in the season for that Achilles.
You just don't get back into a certain time. Sometimes the following year, it has to be early in the year to have a chance, and it's
yeah. So it just if you're the Colts. I mean, if you're the Jonathan Taylor owner, if you're a Tyler Warren owner, if you're a Michael Pittman owner, Alec Pierce, you want to just go through the whole roster. Like, if you're an owner of an offensive weapon,
you're gonna get stacked boxes against a running back, and you'll start the tight end because you got to maybe. But I mean, wide receivers. I mean, I don't know who's throwing the ball.
I don't know. If it's Phillip Rivers, I mean, might as well just get. There's got to be other guys out there that can. I don't get it. Like, what? How are we here? How are we here at Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
like, if God rest his soul, if Irsay was still around, I'd get it. But Irsay brought in Jeff Saturday to be the interim just because.
I remember that.
Yeah, but you know, now that his daughter's like taking notes on the sidelines and very, very involved with the team and all that, and Chris Ballard, I believe, is a GM there. He's been there forever. I just don't see how they like. Do they keep in touch with Phillip? And Phillip's just saying they're like, so I don't get how we think here.
I don't know. Maybe he needs still more money, you know, because he doesn't exactly have the smallest of families. So he probably could use the half game check, maybe. I don't know. But
yeah, I think his first kid was in 2003 and his last kid's in 2023, I believe. I don't know. I was in a conversation about, we were talking about quarterbacks or something, fell on Phillip Rivers, and we talked about how many kids he had. And the fact that Austin Eckler, when he was still with the Chargers, when he brought his kids around, he thought it was like a Make-A-Wish or something they were bringing. No, it's just all the Phillip Rivers kids.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. So yeah, well, yeah, I know that Kansas City is pretty much toast, but right in front of them. I mean, I know their Indy's right in front of them, but I mean, Kansas City feels like they have a better chance than Indy right now. Yeah,
and then the NFC picture is a whole different animal.
That's a beast of a double sided.
Yeah.
You're in first place. The next thing, or you're in the first seed and drop down to the 7th seed with 1 loss.
Yeah, it's nuts. Oh, remember the Cowboys were in the? Oh, they're still in the hunt.
I see the hunt. I know
we're still there. Our graphic is still available. It's still being shown.
So is Kansas City's. Their graphic is right over on the far right side. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing is you just didn't win the division for the first time in 9 years.
Yeah. I guess Crummy River.
Meanwhile, the NFC East hasn't had a repeat champion in I don't know how long. And I think
who was it last year?
It was Philly. No, it might have. Yeah, it was Philly because Washington got in as a wild card.
Okay.
I believe it was Philly. I don't know. But I just know Philly's probably going to win it this year, so I think this might be the first repeat.
I know it's like we're actually going to have it because
we might actually have it. But it was like it's like a weird 10 or 11 years. Like there's been a different champion each year.
So the opposite of what the AFC West has been.
Yeah, or the AFC
East.
AFC East because it was the Patriots for all the 20 years. So who knows on that? But Ryan, Are you ready to turn your brain on and give the people some very crazy insight?
Sure.
That is the waiver wire.
I will do the waiver. Yes. Or
all right. Great. Because we're gonna get wild, people. It's gonna get crazy.
Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the wild card section of our show where we kind of come up with a topic that could help you out in your late season push, especially at this point. And Ryan is kind of the wizard of the waiver wire. That's a lot of W's, but yeah, string them together, it makes sense. And so I was going to ask Ryan, what is your strategy? What is your focus on the waiver wire? And how are you able to use it so well in crafting your roster to make this late season playoff push and defeat GIF?
Well, I'm still bitter that I dropped Chase Brown, so it doesn't always work out. But that's fine. And for me, it's all about quarterback, tight end. If you have kicker and defense, lock it down as quick as you can. Have one. Don't have to, and so you just don't have to think about it, because that leaves the rest of your bench for as many running backs and wide receivers you can. And that is just, and you cycle them through. You kind of be ready. Sometimes you look at the situation. Are you looking for potential backups to your studs? Or you're looking at somebody who just might happen to be able to step in if the right situation comes around? Because I don't recall, but I may have dropped Chase Brown to pick up Travion, just because I might have. I'm not sure. It's right around that same time. But the point is, I've seen, all right, I need to improve my running back situation, because at the time Brown just wasn't happening. That was because before Flacco was brought over there. So it's stuff like that. You're just trying to improve the bench as best you can. And that's kind of what I did a lot this year. And then pay attention to the waivers. I mean, because some people do have to drop stuff, because in our league, we only have 5 spots. So if you get hit bad enough during a bye week, you're dropping some players you may not want to. Am I going to bring up Bucky Irving? Yeah, I'm going to bring up Bucky Irving, because I think he was dropped or something. And I don't know if it was the bye week, but the point is, he was there, picked him up, and he ended up being the right guy. And now I have a spot that I wasn't sure totally what I was going to do, but I picked up enough time that, hey, he's now starting for me. But that is the main thing, is just trying to get as many wide receiver running backs. And I don't carry normally 2 quarterbacks unless it's what's right. Again, tight end, I lock down top 3 tight end if it works out, so I don't have to worry about a tight end. I mean, it's just I want that kind of stuff. And if your league has IR spots, they should be filled with somebody at all times. Doesn't matter if you need it or anything, because yes, if you need an IR spot for one of your own players, and that's fine, you move them in there because that player might be more important. But all my waiver, if I can, my IR spots filled with somebody. In our league, I picked up Burrow, and I didn't need him. I have Hurts, and you know what? I might end up playing Burrow just because and I picked him up a while back that I didn't even know if he was going to be brought back. But the point is, I have him. I currently have Mike, or the wide receiver for. Sorry, I should have this. I currently have Mike Evans. Picked him up in my IR spot, and he's sitting there currently. And there's a good chance he might be starting on Thursday. And I have Pittman that I was starting.
Yeah. And that Tampa Bay the offense is weird right now, because they're getting healthy in the weirdest times, but yet Ibuka something's off.
He's getting the receptions. I have him on my other league, but he's been on my bench for a while because maybe he needs Mike to help him out.
That's what I was because that's what I was thinking, is because when Ibuka was going off, I was at the beginning of the season, but and also too, I don't know how bad that hamstring injury is. I don't. And hamstrings are different from each person. Obviously not a doctor, but that's what I've been told.
He looked good yesterday on the touchdown that he dropped. I mean,
don't remind me.
That move was great.
He had the great double move, and then Baker kind of sailed a little bit, but it was still catchable. That's the thing.
So Baker, guys, I saw that. I'm like, no. Yeah. But that's the main stuff. You got to keep diving in as quick as you can. Sometimes, if you're awake, after waivers run at a certain time, you're jump right in there so you can get some of the other stuff that you just weren't able to get to.
Oh, you get that West Coast cheat code.
There, you do, depending on which site. Because I've noticed I have CBS, ESPN, and ours. The CBS for some reason runs 10:30 my time. Yeah,
most of the time waivers run like early in the morning.
Right, but not CBS. It was 10:30 my time. But it's still, you're talking 1:30, then East Coast, that kind of stuff. So they're going with East Coast time. But so that's helpful. So pay attention on when that happens.
Yeah. The only thing though is with the West Coast, it's not the waivers. It's great for that situation. Not good for ball watching, because I don't want to wake up that early for kickoff, especially when you got those late minute like injury reports and stuff. Like, you know how many times I messed up because of the London game?
Okay, so I like it for almost all of those times except for the London game.
Yeah,
because that's 6:30 my time.
Yeah,
but it starts like 10 o'clock. The first game's here, right. So when you're watching the Super Bowl and it's done by like 9 o'clock, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, no, I've always I've been on Eastern time. I've obviously been to the West Coast, but I'm on Central time. I've been on Central time for a while, and I just feel like that's the nice Goldilocks bowl of porridge is the Central time, just as far as kickoffs and football. So that way you get a full day's worth of football, and it's not like, by mid-afternoon it's done. And no, I'd like to go in the evening. I get that full day of football.
I like my West Coast because the night game is starting at 5:20, and the afternoon game is probably just getting done. So
right.
I like my times, but everybody has their preferences, especially depending on when when I wake up for work. Right. I'm rather early, and so I like to not have to stay up obnoxiously late.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going through those, when you're going through those, especially like the World Series that went to 18 innings, you could probably last through the whole thing. Maybe I couldn't do it.
I know it's like midnight or 11 o'clock or something like that. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, it's 2 a.m. I'm like, no. I was out for the 15th inning. I was like, no, I couldn't do this. I was trying to survive. But as far as going to go back to waivers, so one of the things that I always see is Bucky Irving, for example, last year, or Brian Thomas Jr. They came on late in the season, and they were rookies last year. Bucky Irving mainly is main outlier. Is if you see them starting to get snaps, I would stash them just to see if what they were doing going forward. Bucky ended up working out. I tried to do that this year with Baishal Tootin. He tooted away. Didn't do very well.
But three snaps or something.
Right, but you could tell they were trying to implement him in the system. So all right, I'll stash him, and then it didn't result in anything. But then you might look at so I try and make that strategy and try and eye someone that's going to take that next step maybe in the second half of the season, mainly rookies, or maybe even second year guys that are still getting used to it, but mainly rookies. Do you ever kind of take that approach or? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to pay attention, kind of what's going on, because at least with Discord, you can kind of see snap is who's available on the waiver wire, and then see what their percentages and their snap percentages and that kind of stuff kind of helps. But it's a lot of what I like for what's going on right now. I mean, Dean O'Neill, O'Neill, sorry, from the Neil. He was just gradually improving. You can tell they wanted to get him involved, and then he had Devin Neal, and then obviously your starter getting hurt kind of helped start him up. But you're trying to pay attention to what is, if they're at like a 30% share or something like that. Just you could tell they're using that person, and if you see some stuff, and even if it's one or two plays, they pop a little bit. That I'll try to throw him on my bench if who I have on there is just I'm never going to start him. I mean, but I just don't want to drop him.
Yeah, the one with me this year was Christian Watson, just because Green Bay really couldn't, and especially when Tucker Kraft went out and Christian Watson was just coming in. So I was like, all right, let me pick him up and stash him and see how he's going to do, because obviously they paid him money. They want to keep him on the Green Bay, even when he was hurt, which people were kind of shocked that they gave him an extension. Now we know why, but that kind of paid off for me, and where I was picking him up in certain leagues. Meanwhile, the baseball Tootin one didn't work too well. So it's just you're still taking risk. Obviously, there's a lot of luck involved, but typically you're always trying to make moves to better your situation. Obviously, the Devin Neal situation could work out, but the planets have to align for that one. And plus, he's on a bad team.
True, but they are playing a bunch of bad teams. So that's going forward. So it depends on if he gets to stay the starter or not.
Yeah, I mean, do they play Atlanta again? Because that's what you want to see.
Yeah.
Because that's the one to do it there.
Yeah. It's Carolina, the Jets, and Tennessee.
The goddamn Jets.
All right.
Yeah.
But Carolina's not bad, though. That's the thing.
I know. Yeah. But if you have them, then maybe you don't play them next week. But the point is you have someone on your bench that has a potential of you're trying to figure out somebody put in that second flex spot. Then it might be worth it. Or,
when a player gets traded to another team, Jacoby Meyer situation.
Yeah.
So you just kind of you have to stash and just take a shot at him if you have the roster spots to do it. The main question too, going to the beginning of the season, when do you determine when to drop them? Do you give it 2 weeks? Do you give it 3 weeks? Like, do you have a certain time frame, or
usually 4?
Yeah,
because my mind is they're playing in the preseason, but they're only playing so much, and they only have 3 preseason games now. It takes a while to get that offense going. I almost feel like the first 2 weeks a wash, and then give you another 2 weeks to kind of figure out, okay, this is where they're kind of going with what they got, and then kind of go from there. It didn't always work out. Again, they trade for a quarterback because the Brown. We'll get over it. Yeah.
Or you have those. It's sometimes when you want to sell high too. So like I always bring up Sammy Watkins, especially when he was on the Chiefs, where he'd go off for one game, like the first 4 weeks, and then do nothing for the rest of the season. So it's like, and I'm like, I remember that year I was like, you probably should trade him. And they were like, what are you talking about? He just went off. I'm like, this is all he's going to do. Trade him.
So you wait 4 weeks. If he's one of 4 weeks and he goes off, at least you have a percentage of like, okay, yeah, this is the right guy or not the right guy. But yeah, if you could trade him early on, you just got to hit it right. I mean, if I would have traded Ibuka early, I mean, that's how he turned out. I mean, he was doing really good on a very small share of receptions, and now he's getting the receptions and not catching it.
He's getting the targets. That's the thing.
All
It's
right.
like, I'm keeping him next year. Like he's one of my keepers.
No,
But
good.
yeah, but and so is my boy Cam. Yeah, shout out to Cam. Man, he's such a good personality. I wish he was not hurt. He's something. But
just save that for next year, though.
Yeah, save it for next year. He'll
see what the Jets turn in, or the Giants are next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how their offseason goes. Wonder if they're going to let another great running back or generational talent go to Philadelphia for no reason. Yeah,
because we got to pay the quarterback.
Yeah, we got to pay the quarterback, which he ends up going to another team and doing really well.
I know.
And then his son's like, I would trade Jaden Daniels. Like that whole scene was just
I know.
Murphy's Law of just oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like when you were watching it, you were just like, why would you give up Saquon? Like that was the whole thing. I wouldn't sign Daniel Jones. And then the owner coming in and goes, I'd hate if he went to Philly. And he went to Philly. And then Jaden had like a career year. I mean, like his rookie year was insane. And so you're just like, as a Giants fan, you're like, oh, come on.
This is all on video.
This is all on film. On film. It's never going to go away.
Never going to let that down.
Talk about a Swift kicked in the hindsight 2020 nuts. So
Swift.
Just nuts.
Sorry. Think about Swift and it's stopped at the 1 yard line like twice. Would help my team, but no, so that's fine.
Hey, you know what? Zacharias really needed to get that like thin needle of a window.
I really thought in live it was picked off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're celebrating. I'm like, how'd that happen? Yeah, because it went through the defender's arms.
Yeah. But speaking about waving away generational talent, let's see if we can wave it into our teams. And let's hit up the favorite video.
It's so weird.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the waivers. We were just talking about it, but now we're actually going to talk about players that could be available on your waiver wires to pick up. Yes, that is a video that Tvshka and I kind of bounced around, and that's what we came up with. He just really wanted to have the it character.
What I do find really funny is we're on the book club together, and you don't watch any scary movies, and the It is one of your additions to this, so that's just kind of funny.
No. I watch scary movies. Soul doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told you it. I like It Chapter 1. I really did.
Okay.
No, I watched the Tim Curry It when I was a child and shouldn't have done that.
Okay. All right. Well, that'll stick with you too.
No, but I like It. I like those type of like really well done horror films. I don't like the slasher Freddy Krueger stuff. I don't need gore porn. I don't do that crap. Like, what's the point? People like it. People like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's your cup of tea. Have at it. I'm not going to judge you on it. It's not mine. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
So I don't need to see slasher
More
72.
blood, the better. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Scream works because it's the way it's all made is really cool, and like they're kind of riffing on scary movies while being in a scary movie. That's why Scream is regarded as one of the best ones. I don't need to see Scream 72. Like I just think it's over. We've done it. We don't need to do it.
So like it's 7 or 8 now.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8. It's like, all right, whatever. Like, but the first Halloween movie I think is a masterpiece. But I don't need the rest of them. Just the way the suspense is, and it's John Carpenter.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that ends the movie talk on the Fantasy F round. But yes, we do have a book club show here, what Ryan is always frequent on every episode. And we love to have you over on doing that. We have our Discord members. Discord is links down below. And we are doing, speaking about scary movies, scary writers, we're doing a Stephen King novel, which is The Long Walk, correct?
Long Walk, yep.
Yeah, which is not really a horror film in a sense. It's more of a thriller.
Yeah.
On that. And obviously the movie just came out. Mark Hamill was in it. And that's all I know about the casting. I just remember Mark Hamill being in the trailer.
That's probably all you need to know.
Yeah, that's probably
And a bunch of kids. Yeah.
And a bunch of kids walking.
Straight
That's
line.
the plot. There's a lot of other crap going on, but that's pretty much the plot. Is they're walking and they can't stop, or they die, one way or another. Yeah, wave of friendship. There you go.
Mhm.
What's up, Giff? Yeah, he's extending his hand of friendship with Puka Nakua and JSN on his team. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're not gonna try and I know what you're doing. Okay, it's not funny. But anyway, when it comes to waivers, we kind of alluded to it earlier with the Devin Neal and the Blake Corum of the world. Obviously, Blake Corum. Do you see? Obviously, if we don't know. This is just throwing out there of leagues that they probably could be available. They might not be. They might. But those are the two that stick out to me. Do you see Blake and Devin being solid pickups to start immediately? Or is this because we're in the playoff push? Like that's literally what we're doing next week.
I mean, if you have a weak enough flex, I would definitely be willing to do both of them. I mean, even though Devin is a starter right now, that you'd play him then. But with Corum, their offense is just so good right now that they could support 2 running backs and a certain wide receiver I'm not going to mention, and actually a couple of them. So yeah, their offense is just so good. If you were in I'd stick to a flex, and you also would have them just in case the starter gets injured, because that would be basically a league-winning type of position. So because again, you have usage right now, and it could just get better with Corum.
Yeah. Who else sticks out to you? I know you probably wrote a couple down before I go into any more.
No, I'm not sure if I have really too many more at the moment.
The one I'm going to throw out there, we kind of alluded to, who's in the top 10 is Flournoy for Dallas. It all depends on CeeDee Lamb's health.
Yep.
That's all it is. You can take a stab at him, obviously, like you said, in the flex position, but it all depends on CeeDee Lamb and if he's going to play. If CeeDee Lamb's going to play, chances are, and you were thinking with all the reports that George Pickens got ahead of his ass after this past game, that he's going to show up again, because they're still not out of it, guys. So they're going to come out. And plus, if Dak Prescott is that quarterback, he's going to have his team ready to play, just as a leader as he is. But Flournoy is either going to be, if CeeDee Lamb plays, Flournoy is, you're going to start him and hope he gets a touchdown, because the targets aren't going to be there.
Yeah. I would say though, check to see if Mike Evans is available, because he hasn't actually started yet, and he's actually still on IR. I mean, they haven't totally opened up yet. I mean, he's obviously not in our league, but anybody else could be on your other league, because very well could be starting.
Old man Cooper Kupp could be available. But he really didn't get many targets. Dyke for Tennessee. Because they're playing. Well, the thing is, they did this against Cleveland at Cleveland, and I just think it was just Cleveland being inept. I don't think it was like something woke up in Tennessee, because it goes San Francisco, Kansas City, New Orleans, Jacksonville. And your Super Bowl is probably going to be in New Orleans. Your Super Bowl team, if you get there, is going to be in New Orleans. So if Dyke is shown, if you want to stash him, fine. I don't. I mean, he had 8 targets. That's the thing. Yeah. That's what's intriguing about it. But I just don't trust Tennessee.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, yes, running back decides to go off this week, but not a normal thing.
No. The one that does intrigue me, though, is that Jacksonville receiving room, because Brian Thomas Jr. did all right. Jacoby Myers is good, and also the emergence of Tim Patrick. But it all comes down to Parker and his health, and when he's going to be back. If Parker's out, take a flyer on Tim Patrick. If he's playing, don't worry about Tim Patrick at all. That's the way I view it. If you're Jacoby Meyer owner, you're happy either way. I don't think Parker coming back is going to take away from what Jacoby Meyer's doing.
Yeah, I mean, you could still always grab some of the New England wide receivers too that are probably out there. I mean, it's kind of a hit or miss with them, but the offense is so good right now. Yeah, you can pick a Booty.
Booty should be on someone's roster.
Yeah.
Should.
But they're not. They're not all of them.
Nope. Rasul Douglas, I don't buy him. Hunter Henry, obviously, he should be on someone's team if they're not. As far as tight ends, if Joe Burrow's playing, I'm picking up Mike Gesicki yesterday with T. Higgins out because Joe Burrow is really good at throwing the ball to his receivers. So Mike Gesicki would probably be the one that I would pick up there. Other than that, like you were saying, like you could take a flyer on Cody Parkinson, just because of what the Rams are doing offensively. But who knows?
Yeah. Just seeing what's been going on, and it's like, yeah, there's only
this late in the season
things.
is tough. This late in the season, you're already established, you already know. So it's like either you're getting a guy because of injury related reasons, like Flournoy or Tim Patrick,
or you're getting your handcuffs. I mean, for your starters, because I have Algier because I got Robinson, and I haven't. I don't know if I've started Algier at all, but he's taken up one of my 5 spots because I need to be ready for that. But those are things.
I used to be. That's kind of like an old school way of like, because there used to not be split carries. It used to just be your main back, and then if he gets hurt, you had to have his backup. That's how you would draft. But now with the split carries, the backup, because there's so many other valued running backs out there with split carries that there's no reason to take a roster spot up with their backup. Now Algier's a different outlier because he still gets a lot of carries. But you're not going to you're not going to pick up Will Shipley from Philadelphia if you have Saquon Barkley. Like, you're not going to do that. Like,
it has to be the right situation. I mean, I have pick up Corum, pick up Algier. There's some, and that's why some people were holding on to Harvey, because he was the backup and wasn't getting any, but it worked out for him.
Yeah, worked out for him. But speaking about late season pushes, we're going to leave y'all at the 4th and 20 to tell you all, guys, here's how to not screw up your playoff pushes. Okay, it's all right. Relax, take a chill pill, and remember, if you got them, who got you there, don't bench them. That's what I say. And I'm waiting for the music to pick up because I always forget the music cue. It's going to get there one day. Yeah. We're just going to vibe.
Get to be.
Yeah.
Say now.
Yeah. Here we go. But yes, thoughts and prayers to everyone who didn't make the playoffs. It's not us, by the way. We made the playoffs. Playoffs. We don't have of all the sound bites that I have here. I don't have a freaking playoff from Jim Mora. That's weird. Anyway, yes. So basically, 4th and 20, we used to do the punt, pass, kick, all that stuff. But we're going to leave you all with this. It's playoff time. I hope you make the playoffs. If you didn't make the playoffs, please don't drop people. Start people. Do not ruin the sanctity of fantasy football. I dislike that all the time. There is collusion that gets involved. As a commissioner of said fantasy league, the last thing I want is collusion, and I want respectable fantasy winners and losers. And if one of my biggest pet peeves is not putting a starting lineup because you're never going to make the playoffs to begin with, so you give people easy wins. At this point, those wins are out the window, and so it comes to the point where people will start calling their buddies to drop said player so they can pick them up real quick off the waiver wire. Don't do that. All right, now that I got all the rules and regulations out of the way, Ryan, what are big things now that you've made the playoffs that you want to make sure that you stay on target to make sure that you have the best shot of winning and you're not kicking yourself later?
I definitely say, as you said, play your studs, just because even though Robinson had a bad week last week. You're going to the playoffs next week. You put him in there to 2. Don't overthink it. Try to, if you have the first round bye, pick up players that have some good matchups in week 16 and 17. Try not to play week 18. That's its own thing. But obviously handcuffs are, I mentioned before, that's try to pick it up, because if you know what you have on your bench you're not going to play, I mean, you think you're locked up with your starting lineup. Bye weeks are done. You're not having to worry about a second quarterback or a second tight end and all that. You should be kicker, defense, tight end, quarterback, probably just the one at this point if you have to play it, so that at least you can load up on just certain things that you might need in those last few weeks. And because again, I have LG or Robinson could get hurt next week, and you don't want to fight for that, because you don't need a bunch of other potential upside plays that if they're not popping by now. I mean, then when are you going to play them?
Right. Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback on that, like you were saying, Trey McBride is going against Houston, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to still play him. Guess what? Brissett's got to throw it to somebody.
He's going to throw it 40+ times.
Yeah, he's going to throw it.
Does.
Yeah. If anyone knows, one of the biggest football, I remember kids, there used to be these videotapes called VHSs. Okay. And they did these things called NFL films of these things called football follies. All right. And one of the ones that stuck out to me the most was when the Houston Oilers, yes, this was a team, Houston Oilers and Hall of Famer Warren Moon was playing for them, which he wasn't even drafted. He came from the Canadian League, I believe so. Someone back me up on that. I don't know. I think that's right. But anyway, there's literally the football folly of all they did was pass. And this was back in the 90s.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that.
So every time when I saw Jacoby Brissett pass for like 52 times earlier this season, I was like, was this the second coming of Warren Moon and the Oilers? Like all they did was pass. So they're gonna get their targets, and that's what you're hunting, especially for Trey McBride and even a Michael Wilson. If Marvin Harrison if you have to. Typically right now, Michael Wilson is probably a good start. If Marvin Harrison is hurt, you're starting Michael Wilson because he is their number one target, sans Trey McBride. Because what I don't think Dortch is getting many targets.
Is he on IR?
Greg Dortch? I don't know.
Somebody's on IR too. So you're lacking.
They're trying to figure out if they want to even play Trey Benson, which I don't know why you even try that. Anyway, like just deal with it. But yeah, just keep your studs in. Don't overthink it. And the main thing to take away when you're trying to decide between like a flex player, what's their floor? That's what you need to figure out between. I don't care what their ceiling is. I will live if someone outscores someone else. But I cannot live knowing that I couldn't really think of it. I just look at the floor. If I think this other person's floor is higher, that's who I'm starting. It's still a very tough decision to make, and I understand that, but that's how I key into it. This past week, it was like, all right, do I start Christian Watson or do I start Troy Franklin? Because Troy Franklin's been getting his targets and all that stuff. The way it's been going, I still viewed Christian Watson's floor as higher than Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin got like one catch. Christian Watson had a great day. He was a top 10 receiver, at least. So that's how I view it. If you come down to those flex positions, what is their floor? If you're deciding between a wide receiver and a running back, let's call him Monange, who's more of because that's literally like who you're probably going to be putting in that flex position, probably where you have it, unless your running back room is bad and you need to have Monange. Either way, you're happy, but you're probably coming to that flex position. And Monange is there. I'm going to mispronounce it. I'm going to pronounce his last name like 20 different times because I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. But that is like that flex. So when it comes to like a running back to receiver, how do you view that decision?
Yeah, because he's going to play Mononga.
Right.
I mean, it's
he's going to get his carries. He's going to get his targets. Like, he's going to be a solid running back, but it's more of a 60-40 than it is a 70-30 when it comes to that running back room. It's more really towards a 50-50.
Yeah, they don't catch passes, so you're trying to get a touchdown, but again, you're trying to get a floor.
Yeah, and it just I always lean when it comes to running backs and what the production Mononga is getting, and it comes to receivers, I tend to lean more towards the running back than a receiver, just because you might be schemed out of it. Christian Watson, that's a tough one. Like, if you decide between Christian Watson and Mononga, as of right now, I'd lean toward Christian Watson.
Yeah, I tend to pay more attention to the route, not the route tree, but how wide are there potential of not catching passes? Because I personally am avoiding Green Bay like the plague. I mean, I drafted Golden. I dropped him. Well,
I'm going to be starting on Golden in my dynasty league.
So he still might be all right someday. But the problem is it's such a wide range of potential outcomes on receivers. So, yes.
Because Romeo Doubs got nothing. He literally got nothing. He had one target this past week.
You had two receivers that did stuff, and everyone else was almost zero or close to.
Yeah.
So
and then
it could be different next week.
We had Bo Melton have that 45-yarder.
I know. It's nice catch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't trust any. I mean, I trust their running backs because you have 1 to 2.
Yeah.
Not 10.
No, and that's why Christian Watson's like, that's the reason I brought him up is because of the Green Bay wide receiver room, and at least he's these past 3 weeks, and I think
he's there. He's not getting a lot of receptions, but he's getting actual work with those receptions.
Yeah. I mean, he literally went 29, 18, 24, and
what are receptions? Or how many receptions each?
Receptions wise, he went 4, 5, 4, 4, and he did it on 5, 7, 10, and 4. But he went 4 for 4 on his targets, like what you're saying. Now, granted, two of those happen to be touchdowns because that's what he can do. So he's just been. I don't know. I'm going with Mononga most of the time. Like, if you wanted me to tier him, I'm going with the running back who I know is going to get his carries.
Because again,
on a team that
usually 2 going, barely maybe 3 running backs they're used,
right?
But you're likely 2, even with the split. But you just sometimes you use what you got.
Yeah. Yeah, but Ryan, any final thoughts to help the fine people out there before we bid adieu on this fantasy F Around show?
Try not to tell all your secrets to the person who you're playing against next week.
Going into tonight, we did not realize I thought Ryan was going to have the bye. Okay,
me too. But
no. Shout out to Tvshka.
He gets to jump up.
That's why he was avoiding the show, because he didn't want to tell me all the secrets, even though we talk about fantasy football like every day. But I tell my secrets all the time, and I'm still in the playoffs, guys. Okay, I keep giving you the roadmap to beat me. The fantasy footballers, they still win their leagues.
Tune in next week. We'll see if I listen to what you're saying.
Christian Watson is on my team, so the 2 guys we were going over with, I think Mononga is on my team. I think. I don't know. When you have everyone on your team, you tend to forget. Like I told you, my other fantasy partner, he was just like, "Oh, I didn't even know Michael Wilson was on our team." I was like, you literally picked him up 2 weeks ago."
I know, and I have Swift, so that's funny.
Yeah. It's just figuring out like, okay, I know I have that guy, but do I have him on this team or that team? I forget.
Or you're playing against it, but then you're playing against it, but then you're also they're playing against you with the same person. I think that McBride,
but
is what it is.
I have 2 Raiders and 2 Giants on one of my teams in my big league, and if I make the playoffs in that, I should get a medal for doing that. Also, in another league that I'm like in second place, I literally started, except for this week, I started Tony Pollard as my second running back all season, and I'm the highest scoring team in the league. So
that's funny.
I don't know.
Sometimes Tony says it's day.
Yeah. Shout out to Jackson Smith and Jigba for that team. For this league, no.
Bad.
No, bad being really good. Bad Puka. Yeah. But all that, Ryan, obviously we talked about the book club, all the other things we got going on this week. Tomorrow night, Sol and I will be going over our bracket bitches. Congratulations to Inter Miami of winning the MLS. And we're going over our bracket bitches for the MLS Championship. Spoiler alert, I didn't win it again. It happens all the time. I never win those damn things.
Hey, I got fourth. I didn't. I just saw that today.
Yeah,
and that was with the Sounders losing like at the first round.
Yeah, I always gave the Sounders at least a shot. I did pick the winner correctly, but the rest of it wasn't very good. But we'll go over that tomorrow. Then Wednesday, obviously, we have a Rev Sports Wrap It Up, where Sol and I and Tvshka break down everything of the week that was in sports. So basically, give Sol another reason to do a victory lap on her team winning the MLS Cup. Shout out to it helps to have the greatest soccer player ever on your team. It tends to work out for you. And then on Thursdays, you have me and Justin breaking down the world of wrestling. Basically, you get me. So if I'm annoying you, I hope not. I hope let me know how I can not annoy you, because I'm going to be on a lot of these shows. But on Thursday, yes, you get me and Justin breaking down the world of wrestling with Ruckus Wrestling. Obviously, we're getting ready to come up to John Cena's last match ever. For if you have anything to do with pop culture, you know who John Cena is, and he's doing his last match. At least that's what he says. Never say never, but he's going to go off to Hollywood and do that and not have to take a bump. Yeah. There you go. Do that. But yeah, that's it. 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then we'll be back here doing our fantasy F around. And hopefully some of us will win, some of us will lose. But at the end of the day, we'll have a good time. And Ryan will probably be back in the comments telling Gift to F off in the kindest way possible.
What? I would never do that.
Yeah. You all just there. Congrats on the win, even though you're just like sitting there like flicking each other off to the screen.
I can't even give him a hard time because he has a bye.
Yeah. All right. Just want to say congrats to Ryan and Mabry for getting to playoffs. Well, thank you. I feel like you're that's such a backhanded comment. You know what you did. You know what you're doing. That's a backhanded comment. Compliments.
Yes, we finally were able to get around into the playoffs. Yes.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Whatever. All right. You know, we used to hate on Jason. Giff, you are becoming the Kansas City Chiefs of this show. Okay. Just letting you know that. All right. And also play this.
I hurt myself today.
I don't know you anymore.
I had to get it out of my system. But Ryan, thank you so much. It's been fun. It's been a pleasure. And good luck. I hope you don't win next week.
I hope you do in other leagues.
There you go. I hope you win in other leagues too, just not in this one. How about that? We'll do that. But thank you all so much for joining us. We'll be back next time. Stay classy, San Diego.
Bye.